Everybody. Hey, everybody. I am horrible at this stuff, but I am here to do the takeover. Basically, I will say at this point that unless somebody gets in here and asks me some questions, I'm probably gonna have some awkward silence, but I will do my best. So I guess first, I'm gonna show off. My wife did this for me. She made my office and started putting all of my covers up in posters, which is amazingly cool. That was what she did for my 50th birthday, which was very cool. So, uh, and John, with regard to audiobooks, there's so much coming out right now. I don't even know how to explain it. I felt bad asking for promo slots for all of them. The On the 29th of this month, the audio for Welcome to the Multiverse number 4, Resistance, is coming out. And then in the middle of November, Dragon Sorcerer 4's audio is coming in. And I know that's been a long time coming. It's just scheduling things and everything. And then also in December is the next Crystal Core audio, which is from my pen name David Burke. So anyway, hopefully that answers that, Joe. I mean, or John. I'm sorry. I've got so much going on this next year too. I was just doing my schedule. I have my book production schedule set out all the way through January of 2026 now. So I'm on next Monday, the 28th. Dragon Sorcerer 5 comes out as an ebook, and that closes out that main series. Rachel, I will answer that question in just a minute. Then Welcome to the Multiverse I've written through book 5. Book 5 comes out in ebook at the beginning of November, and then it'll publish book 6 in February, book 7 in May, and book 8 in August. So every 3 months. And the series is set for 8 books right now. I can't say that it couldn't be extended because there's lots of world there, but at the same time, it is. I believe that a story needs an end point as much as it needs a beginning. I just think about the way that if I walk up to somebody and I start telling them a story, and then I never end it, I just kind of drift off and walk away, they're going to be really upset with me, and they're not going to want me to keep telling stories. They're not going to want me to tell jokes if I don't have a punchline. So I really think that everything needs an end, even when a series is doing really well. I have one series set for next year for my pen name, which is has a tentative title of Village of the Damned. So I don't know if I'm going to go with that or not, but it's going to have a little bit of a darker theme to it. And then the question that I get asked more than anything else is about life in exile. Book 7 is about 40% done. It's been about 40% done since February. I have not been able to get back to it with maintaining my other schedules. So maybe the answer to your question, Rachel, is that I don't manage it as well as I should. I set goals, and my editors will tell you that I set unrealistic goals. I set goals for like 40,000 words a week, and I'm aiming for 50,000, but I rarely get a 50,000 word week. And sometimes I get a 30,000 word week. And if I have stuff come up and I get 30,000 word weeks in a row, well, then I'm 30,000 words behind. And, in a 150,000 word book, that's quite a bit. what I do to try to balance them, though, is I try to alternate between series, and I try to remember what it is that I am loving about a particular series. I also typically reread the last book in a series and move on. So like I'm writing Crystal Core 5 right now. Over the weekend, I finished and reread Crystal Core 4 just to kind of put me back in that frame of mind. So, Miss Snacks a lot asked about which book to recommend. So, that's always a baited question because no one is going to like the same series. I will say that my Life in Exile is my first series. It's full of new author mistakes, but I really love the um, storyline. It's about a family that gets isekai'd to another world. It's mom, dad, teenage daughter, teenage son, and younger daughter. And so they have to not only deal with all the changes that we see a hero deal with when they go to a new world, but they also have to deal with the fact that their children are going to be in that danger. They have to deal with the fact that not only are their children going to be in danger, but they have to allow their children to be in danger because that's the only way their children are ever going to gain levels and ever be safe. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I get a lot of criticism about the mother, but I really feel like she's fair in the beginning. She had struggles with adapting to this new way of thinking and this new video game logic. Um, and and yet when she does finally turn around, she goes all in, changes her name, everything. She's really embraces it. And one of my favorite points about that series was just in the very beginning. They're getting to select their race, and the dad selects human because he reasons that if he selects anything else, his wife will go crazy on him. He could have been whatever, a dragonkin, but no, he goes safe route. He goes human. Well, his wife chooses the pictures based, or chooses the race based upon the images that she gets of them, and so she ends up choosing a moon elf, which then causes their children to be half elf, half human. And it's fun because nobody's wrong in that situation. The husband's thinking is right. The wife's thinking is fair because she wants this cool race, and they all are together. If Life in Exile doesn't sound like something you like, then my most popular best-selling series is Welcome to the Multiverse. It is sort of like a system apocalypse, but the main character finds out about the apocalypse before it's going to happen. I'm not talking time regression, which there are some awesome time regression, like the hero goes back in time and already knows everything about the apocalypse. Or he knows it's going to happen, but he doesn't know all the details about it. And worse, he is a forerunner, or maybe better, because he gets access to the system and stats and magic and everything. And then he has to go on these off-world missions to try to earn points for Earth so that Earth ends up with a better placement in the apocalypse, because the bottom worlds end up being flagged for resources and everybody dies, and the top world ends up being inducted into the multiverse with full citizenship for everyone and a very low mortality rate. So that's Welcome to the Multiverse. And then Crystal Core, I'm sorry, Class Shift is a finished trilogy. So if you want something that's completely finished, that's great. Dragon Sorcerer is about a neurodivergent dragon, and there's a lot of fun. The dragon is the main character, and he's very much not a human who's been turned into a dragon. He's very much a dragon and thinks about humans very differently, and that leads to a certain kind of humor. And that series will be finished when book 5 publishes on Monday. And then there's Shaman's Call, my worst selling series ever, but 4 of my children who read my books say it's their favorite. So what do I know? Anyway, so thanks. I do appreciate that 50,000 words is a lot in a week, but I've every year I get 4 or 5 weeks of 50,000 words, and it's just a lot of fun. So I have 51 books now, JD. uh, I just finished Dragon Sorcerer 5 last week, and that was my 51st book. I'm excited because I finished my 51st book in my 51st year of life. Um, so that's good. I didn't start writing until I was 46. So since May 21st, 2019 to today, I have 51 books written, and it's about 7.7 million words. Yeah, Harmon definitely started before me because I read some of his books before I ever started writing, even. And I have to say that finding Harmon, and I found several other some Dakota Kraut stuff, uh, Rise to Super Mage, it's Rise to Omniscience by oh my gosh, I'm sorry, it's Aaron Oster, I think. And then I found several others, and when I found those and I was reading them to my son, it was just like actually finding home. I'll equate it to returning from deployment, because it's like coming back to the home that you almost forgot about. And I'd never realized what I was missing in fantasy books, and now I know it's stats. So, um, Rachel asked, with all the series that you have out, do you have a favorite character type of character you like to write? So first off, I believe in imperfect characters. I don't want my character to be the best at everything. I don't want I don't want them to be perfect. Always the tactical genius who does everything right. They're supposed to make some mistakes. That's how we grow as people. Um, uh, as for the character types that I like, so this is an irony. I was talking to Geneva about before this. I am on the good guys or nice guys finish last panel, and I hate anti-heroes. I hate sociopathic, narcissistic heroes. So I guess my favorite type of hero is the nice guy. I'd rather write the hero who needs to learn to stop apologizing than the guy who won't forgive anyone. But that's me. So, uh, yeah, JD. I have been really blessed to have some hits. I give glory to God for it. I work hard, but it has just been amazing. A little bit more than 3 years ago, I left my law practice, and I pinch myself almost daily that I get to make up stories and connect with readers. And I mean, it really is living the dream that I never knew that I had, which is so funny because in in the mid 90s, I worked as a martial arts instructor, and I swore that was my dream job. It was the most amazing thing. I thought, to get to pay my bills teaching martial arts. And I mean, that was before I went to college. That was everything. I thought I'd arrived. I'd hit the end, and there wasn't anywhere up from there. I was never going to have a better dream job than that. But being an author is a better dream job. So, Brian, you asked about switching from law. It says, how does it feel switching out the law library with your own personal library of written books? Well, since legal books are what you read when you need to go to sleep, very, very good. It's cool to have my books on the shelf. I will point out that I have the books of one other author on my shelf. I don't know if you guys can see who that is. Hopefully you can. But I have quite a few Jez books on the shelf there. Um, Marsh asked, "What made you decide to just go for it and quit the day job?" Okay, so I am super risk averse. I am crazy. Like, um, I don't want to buy something until I have double the money in the bank. And my wife is absolutely she'd give away our last dollar to the beggar on the side of the street, um, before we bought groceries, because it was just the right thing to do. Um, and so, 31 years of marriage, we balance each other out. I was working 50 hours a week at the law office, and I was writing 35 to 40 hours a week. And my wife basically gave me an ultimatum. She said I had to choose. That was in early 2021. We negotiated for a while. I wanted to wait till early 2022 to do it. She wanted me to wait till, she wanted me to do it in the summer of 2021. We ended up settling on October of 2021, and so October 8th, 2021, I retired from my law practice and came out. So for me, I was matching or beating my income as an attorney in 2021, and things seemed great. Ironically, November of 2021 was a really, really low month for me. October wasn't very good either, and I was having a complete and absolute panic attack. Like I had just completely screwed everything up. And I just did not know what I was doing. I thought crazy. And then my pen name had a book that came out at the end of November of 2021, and it to this day is still my highest selling book. Although book one, A Welcome to the Multiverse, is going to pass that up pretty soon. But that series under my pen name took off, and then everything was great after that. I don't actually write that much more than I did when I was working as an attorney, because I think that the cap on writing is more about how much creativity is in my well, how much water's down there, and more so than time or anything like that. I maybe spend more time thinking about the stories now. I pace around the room. I step out the battle and think about how everybody would be positioned. And it just is what it is. So maybe that's why the books are getting better. Everybody tells me that my books are getting better. Maybe I'm actually learning something. So that's good. Brian says, "Why did you pick an Irish name for your pen name?" So you're gonna love this. I have 9 children. So everyone, you can pick your jaws up. I have 9 children. Only 5 of them live at home still, and only 3 of them are under 18 still. But we out of those 9 children, we only have one boy. And when we found out that he was going to be a boy, we were talking about names, and we were figuring out what we were going to do. And he's my 8th child. And no, I did not keep making my wife have children. She's the one who wanted more children, and she's the one who wanted a son. And it's worked out because I've got a bunch of daddy's girls, and her son definitely takes care of her. But we were going to name him David Burke. David after my father-in-law, and Burke after my grandfather. And so that was what we were going to go with. And at the last minute, I said, "Nope, this is it's going to be our last kid." Turned out not to be our last kid, but this is going to be our last kid. It's going to be our only son. I want to name him Sean. So sure enough, he's Sean, not Sean Jr. because he has a different middle name. But anyway, so that's how the pen name came about, because that was what I'd been planning on naming my son up until like after he was born. So anyway, 9 children. Yeah, yep. That's how I mastered the name generation. Actually, names come from everywhere. Our firstborn daughter's name is Kiriana, and my wife and I were. She was pregnant. We were, 8. She was about 8 months along, and we were at a movie. I don't remember the name of the movie. It had what's his name, Lambert, the Highlander guy in it. But I don't remember what it was. Anyway, he was in it, and there was a name that came out. And it was like Kiana, and we started playing around with that, and then uh, we ended up with Kiriana, and it just stuck, and then we went from there. And ironically, um, uh, all but our son have names that start with K, and his middle name starts with a K. So, yep, Christopher Lambert. Thank you, JD. And yeah, Ryan, I suppose we probably do have the people generation thing down. We actually probably had it down too good, and that caused some problems. But anyway, it's good. It's all good. And 31 years of marriage, I wouldn't do anything different. I'm thrilled with the life and the wife that I have. So, uh, okay, come on, people, ask me questions because nobody wants to hear me ramble. Well, since I'm rambling, I will say that more than a lit RPG author, I am a lit RPG reader. I am a fan of lit RPG. I love it. I fanboy over so many of the authors. I probably freaked a bunch of them out at Dragon Con when I went up and was, talking to them and saying hi and all of that. And there you go. So Rachel asks, has your wife or family read any of your books? And so the answer to that is my wife read 5 chapters of my first book. She told me how much she loved it, and she has never read another page. Love her. This is not her taste, and it doesn't need to be everybody's taste. The As far as my kids, my 29-year-old daughter, my 26-year-old daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, and my son all read. They're all avid readers and mostly lit RPGs. So, in fact, we get together and we talk about the other books that they read. My 26-year-old daughter just graduated law school, which we're really proud of her for, and she had started a club at her law school for D&D, and I got to come up and guest host one of their games. And it was so cool because there were literally people there who had read my books and didn't know that I was her father. And I was like, what a small world this is. And that is like the most cool thing ever. Um, let's see, questions that are coming out. JD asked how I came to terms with my pen name. And ultimately, what I came to terms with was that I was going to write anything future in a PG-13 mode. I haven't let my, children, some of my older children could do whatever they wanted, but I haven't let my younger children read the early series from that pen name. But the current series, Crystal Core, which is doing great, and which book 5 will come out in December, and that'll finish that series. It is PG-13. Yes, there are harem elements. Yes, he has 3 wives. He has 3 wives as part of the whole ritual of summoning him to the other world. None of them. He's not. It's not like they're jumping at him at all. In fact, none of them want to be the hero's wife, and they actually have to build relationships. And I just really value that part of the human experience because I married my high school sweetheart, and I just love the way that relationships build up as people live life together. So, um, so, were there any surprises for you when it comes to readers within your family and friends, unexpected fans? It's been cool. I had I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I had one of my uh, former clients as an attorney, and this was a headache client. I had his wife messaged me to say, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that our son reads your books." And they got together for the weekend and we're having dinner or something, and they started talking and asking him what he was doing. He said, "Oh, I'm reading this book by this guy named Sean Oswald, and he's from Illinois, where we're from, and uh, they were like, "You're kidding me? We know that guy. He was your dad's attorney." And it was fun. So that's, I guess, kind of an unexpected surprise thing. As for readers, it's really funny. Half my kids are avid readers and half are not. Um, and Brian, my daughter's still waiting for her cameo in one of your books, so because she likes your books better than she likes mine. Um, but hey, who can complain? Quest Academy is truly awesome. I probably recommend it 5 times a week. So I just love it. Um, yeah. Darkest audiobook. Ugh. Um, I mean, I would say Darkest is one of my pen name books. But even then, I'm just such a goody two shoes guy. I don't know. I don't know that I can say that any of them are truly dark. This next series that I'm going to be writing is supposed to have a darker feel to it, which I guess we'll find out if I'm capable of doing that. Um, anyway, we'll leave it at that. Um, and I know that's not a recommendation. I just don't know what to recommend because they're all relatively upbeat. My definition of the difference between horror and fantasy is that in a horror movie you're facing off against, and not always, sometimes it's a serial killer or whatever, but you're facing off against this supernatural threat that is so much more powerful than you, and you don't have any way to do anything about it. And that's what makes it the horror of it, is that you're completely and absolutely outclassed. In fantasy, especially in lit RPG, you start out and you've got this huge villain that's looming in the future, but you get to actually grow strong enough to defeat the villain. And you don't defeat the villain through sheer plot armor or dumb luck. You defeat the villain because you grow stronger. And to me, that's fantasy is, yeah. And yes, JD, I would agree that Jez is dark, but he's dark in a way that I can handle, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, that's why I prefer fantasy, because I prefer to see what is, you know, I prefer to see the hero face the challenges and then overcome them, rather than either dumb lucking, or really the hero is just the person who survives the horrors. So yeah, I agree, JD. His main characters are still heroes, even if they're put in some very dark situations. So, um, okay, so what am I excited about? What's entertaining for me? It's just weird stuff at different times. I literally, the last 2 weeks, have been binging this cop procedural show called The Rookie. Nathan Fillion, who we might know better from Firefly. He's a great actor, and it has absolutely nothing to do with lit RPG, but I've just enjoyed it. I jump on, my big shows I watch, like Cobra Kai, and uh, the Reacher show on Amazon, and those are the shows that really resonate with me the most. But I've really been enjoying this Rookie. So, yep, I agree with you, Miss Snacks, a lot. It is good. So, okay, well, I am almost out of time. We're down to about 30 seconds. Um, oh, JD, that's awesome. And I love that they had the female lead from Castle come in as his ex-wife in uh, The Rookie, which was super cool. So there is my Amazon link put up by Geneva. I You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Reddit sometimes. And I love interacting with all of you. Thanks very much for being here and listening to me ramble. And that's my time.